Hi, we're back. My daughter Christina.
And this is another edition of the WLS Soundbites. The question for this week is, what do you both do if and when you mess up, as in eat more than you should or neglect exercising? Do you try to catch up or just try to get back on track?
Did somebody write that in to ask that question?
It was Aunt Sandy.
That's a mean person.
Oh, I know, she's mean.
Make us. It's exceptionally important in these, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough question to be honest to,
Well,
because nobody likes to admit. But
I did have an instance where, because my thing, I don't like sweet stuff. Ever since the surgery, anything that's sweet is a very big turnoff. However, salty, crunchy things are my thing at this point, and I crave them. Specifically chips, like not so
Doritos,
much Doritos, Cool Ranch Doritos, Fritos, tortilla chips, Wheat Thins. I mean, if it's salty and it's crunchy, that's what I want. And I've tried kale chips, and I don't like them. I do occasionally get the protein chips from that thing, but they're not salty enough to fulfill that craving.
because they're too healthy.
I guess. But there was a week, it was months ago, where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to have chips because that's all I want. So I went and got one of the, not the family size, but the big size bags of Doritos. And I replaced meals with Doritos for almost a week. And that was during the part of my journey where I lost weight no matter what.
Yeah.
But that was one of the weeks where I got on the scale that Sunday and I had lost nothing. And it was a wake-up call at that point that, what am I doing? I went and I had 2 surgeries back to back, and I went through all that. And I didn't go through all that to just go and eat Doritos and kind of sabotage myself. So you can't really catch up, I don't think. It's just a matter of getting yourself back on track. Just say, okay, that week was a wash, I made that mistake, learn from it, move on, and just get back on track as far as that goes. And there's been other little hiccups along the way where I just can't stand the craving, and I'll go buy, but instead of buying the big bag of chips, I'll go for there's some that you can get at a convenience store that are like 2 for 50 cents and they're real small. So I'll go get those because it's better than me.
Yeah. Same thing for me. Yep. It is work. It ain't easy. It's a tough question. Trying to look back on specific examples. Can you catch up? I don't think you can. You can get back on track. One of the things you can do to help prevent that, because some people will, Thanksgiving, they'll say, well, okay, I know it's coming up. The year or 2 after surgery, I'm not going to eat anyway. You got that hyper motivation. And you've been losing weight and you're pumped up and you're, yeah. The 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th year, it's, instead of just eating turkey, I could have turkey and dressing and a couple of bites of pumpkin pie. Yeah. And get the whipped cream on it. And so the next day, it's good because when you do that, you'll have that feeling that you had when you were still heavy. When you'd pig out on Thanksgiving and you'd go sit in the armchair and you go, oh, why did I do that? Oh. Now it takes less to get that same feeling, and you'll say, oh man, how stupid was I? And it kind of reinforces. So sometimes failures like that help you, to remind you of that feeling, of why you shouldn't do it, why it's not. It's kind of like you put your hand down and you hit your thumb with a hammer. It hurts, so don't do it again. Yeah. And you'll be wondering, 6, 8 months later, did that really hurt that bad? Yeah, it did. So it reminds you and helps you keep you on track. So one failure does not a trend make. And we're not perfect. Even the people we talked about, Bolt, the Olympian. Lance Armstrong is the only thing that comes to mind. You know, other people, they're not perfect. They have bad days too. They're just blessed with a metabolism that doesn't make it quite as bad as we do. So you need to work at not having those short-term failures, but you're going to have them. And when you do have them, learn from them and put yourself back on track.
And don't just totally give up because you had one.
Right.
Because it could have been easy for me after that chip ordeal just to say, you know what, I'm just...
Yep. And a bag of chips a day, just a small bag of Doritos a day, is about 5 pounds a year.
And that adds up.
Yeah. So a bag of chips today ain't going to be bad. But if you do that and then fall back into your old habits and say, well, one bag yesterday didn't hurt, so one more bag today ain't going to do.
Yeah.
And then you do that every day for a year, you will have gained 5 pounds. I bet you will have gained 20 or 30 pounds of it, because if you do that with a bag of chips, you'll also do it with, well, one piece of pie ain't going to hurt.
This glass of soda is not.
This glass of soda, this one glass of soda won't hurt. Or if it's you know, Diet Coke, that won't hurt. Diet Coke still has calories in it, but Diet Coke also still has carbonation in it, which could stretch your pouch, which makes it, you have to eat more to feel full. Diet Coke still has caffeine in it, which is a diuretic, which is going to help make it harder for you to get your water intake. And your water, your internal body water level drops, your metabolism slows down. Your metabolism slows down. That bag of chips you just ate goes, more of it goes towards stored energy, fat, than not. So you have to watch those things. And for the rest of your life, you're going to have to take vitamins. For the rest of your life, you're going to have to remember to keep your water going. For many reasons, and we've talked about them before, so I'll quickly remind people, the listeners, people something. Keeping your water level up helps keep your metabolism up. It also helps your joints. It also helps your blood, because your blood is mostly water. Your whole body is mostly water. It helps keep you from getting stopped up, constipation, because water and fiber holds water, and it helps lubricate your whole digestive tract. If you don't have the fiber and you don't have the water, or if you don't have one or the other, let alone both, you're going to start getting constipated, and that's not a fun thing. So yes, long term, for the rest of your life, vitamins, water, protein, that kind of stuff. But to get back on track with this question, yes, you're going to have failures. Hopefully they're short-term failures, like a meal, not a day or a week or a month or a year. Because yes, you can go right back to the weight you're at. It might take you some time to get there. But once you get there, you're miserable again, you're unhealthy again. So don't lose your winning attitude. You won, you beat it, don't let it come back and take control again.
Very good. Okay. And as far as the overeating, that makes you miserable once you've had the surgery. And it's like you said, it doesn't take much to get to that point once you've had the surgery, and I think I've done that, tried to eat too fast, not so much as in I ate too much, but tried to eat too fast.
I did that yesterday.
And it comes
I forgot.
You forgot?
I forgot, and I ate too fast, and it felt like somebody was sticking a little knife in my stomach.
Yeah.
It was painful, and I kind of had to stretch, kind of like when you get an air bubble and you feel like you got a burp. But it's painful because the air bubble's right down. It feels like it's almost ready to go into your stomach, but it's not quite there. And you're, that's the way I felt. And I thought, what a dummy. I did that to myself.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll learn from it.
And the other thing I learned is you can't save up. Like if you know that you're going out to eat.
No.
Like, okay, let's say you're going out to eat for dinner. You can't not have, like, have your breakfast shake. You can't not have lunch and then think, okay, I'm going to have a really good dinner. It doesn't work.
No.
Because you can still only eat the tiny bit.
Even now, whenever I can eat more than a tiny bit, my stomach's still small. It's not as large as it was, but it's not as small as yours. But I can still, like, maybe half a Bill Miller's plate, and I've eaten too much.
Yeah.
And I feel it. Instead of a Bill Miller's plate plus pie, plus tea, plus... it's still important, even 6 years out, to not drink a lot before you eat or a lot after. To focus on the eating. I sip sometimes to wash stuff down, but I still try to keep that general rule of a half hour before, 45 minutes after. Yeah, so some things change, some things don't. You'll get to the painful full before I do. Now, in a couple of years, you'll be right there with me.
So you kind of get to a more, to me, you eat more like a normal, healthy person should, where you can eat almost anything within reason. I mean, you can eat the normal portion size, and you can eat pretty much everything, where I can eat a little bit, I can eat a lot more than I could a couple of months ago, but I'm still can't eat. I haven't tried ice cream, and I don't really want to.
You've teased me, because one of the things that I guess it was a mild case of dumping. I spent about 20 minutes in the bathroom, and I started to sweat, and I felt bad, and felt like I wanted to throw up, and that kind of stuff. I didn't throw up, but the southern end was an overdrive.
Yeah. And
I was sweating, and my heart was pounding, and that kind of stuff. So it was a mild case of dumping. Was right after, about 4 or 5 months after surgery, when I had the pizza with pineapple on it, and you always tease me about, hey, there's pineapple, you want some? She's mean to me. We had a 1-year anniversary with Dr. Peterson of his new weight loss program, and they had these things out there where you lift up the metal thing, and they had little bitty, teeny shish kebabs, kind of a shish kebab on a toothpick. Had a little piece of chicken, piece of pineapple, a little piece of chicken, and a little square of bell pepper. And I had 2 or 3 of those, and had pineapple on it, and I was okay.
Nothing happened?
Nothing happened.
Did it taste good?
It tasted like pineapple.
Okay.
A little warm. I'm used to pineapple being cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fine.
Well, la-di-da.
So there.
But your intestines, like you said in the previous soundbite, has adjusted at this point, so it can handle
a
little bit more of the sugar, natural sugar, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And sorry, my nose itches. I don't mean to do that on camera. I used to like coleslaw, and then I couldn't eat it. Probably because it's a little sugary, and probably because of the gas coleslaw gives you.
Yes.
But now I can eat coleslaw. But it still definitely gives me gas.
Yeah.
But I can tolerate it now.
Yeah.
Not a lot of it. But so I can eat almost anything I want now. I try to still focus on the good stuff.
Yeah.
I still minimize the bad stuff, and I still try to watch portion control. And you and I have talked about too, something to throw in here while we're talking about that, is if you get to a point where you talked about if you don't have your protein shake for breakfast and you skip lunch and you think you can pig out for dinner, you still can't because your stomach is still restrictive. Yeah. And you don't eat, your metabolism slows down.
Right.
And you can feel it after you lose some weight, like you and I have. Your metabolism slows down. You can kind of say, I feel a little sluggish. Yeah. You might not realize that that's because your metabolism slows down because you haven't had anything to eat. And you get to a point where you start slowing down in your weight loss. What you can do is take the same amount you've had to eat through the day for 3 meals and break it down into 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Eat the same calories, eat the same amount, but eat more times a day. Same total calories for the day, not the same total calories for each meal.
Gotcha.
Take the whole thing for the day, and you, instead of 3 meals, you break that same total for the day down into 4 or 5 meals, and your body will get to a point where it says, "Oh, I've got food, I've got burnable energy over a stretch of time," and your metabolism will stay a little higher all day long. So you have the same amount of calories with a little bit higher metabolism, and you may kick in and lose an extra pound or 2 that week.
Yeah.
Something to think about, something to try. Works for some people, works for most people, I'd say. Doesn't work for some. But it's one of those things you learn at a meeting that you can try when you get to that point.
Yeah, when you start having your stalls and
Yeah.
and they will come because everybody gets them.
Yep.
I think that's all we have for this week.
Okay.
So we will talk to you later. Bye.